Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back to Final Expense Telesales. My name is Dana Neeson. Today, we're going to cover a topic that actually has me feeling a little uncomfortable. But hey, we're all here to step outside our comfort zones. And today, I'm going to be talking about how to overcome limiting beliefs in telesales. So this is more of a mindset training and one that I have typically handed off to other experts in the industry. But today I am tackling this myself. I do believe I have a lot to share and can provide you with some value to help you break that ceiling and take your telesales business to the next level. If you are just now finding this channel, thank you so much for being here. I am the owner-founder of Empower Life Group. We are a remote telesales agency specializing in simplified life insurance. Our IMO is Lasting Mark, and my job is to try to help you have stronger, more sophisticated sales conversations. If you're interested in joining my team, my contact information is in the description below. All right, we're gonna break this up into multiple parts. Part one would be to what we'll call as define the enemy, right? We're going to define the enemy. What does that mean? That means that we have to recognize that our limiting beliefs are, in fact, internal things we tell ourselves. They are not facts. But when we think it over and over and over again, those thoughts, those internal thoughts that we have, they become our facts through manifestation. But the reality is it's not real. It's a story that you tell yourself about what you can't do, even though it's not true. For example, nobody wants to buy over the phone. I'm not a good closer. The leads are not good. I'm not as good as that person over there. When you as an agent hold one of those false limiting beliefs, like people don't want to buy life insurance over the phone, you begin to approach your sales calls with hesitation, with maybe a little defensiveness because you get an objection and you're like, I knew they weren't going to buy over the phone. You even go into it with low energy, right? Because you're nervous, have almost a wall up that the person isn't going to want to talk to you anyway. Even if you don't say it out loud, the belief in this false narrative, it affects how you speak. It affects what you say, and then most importantly, what you expect to happen next. And that energy is contagious, right? I mean, the prospect can feel it on the other end of the phone. You might not ask the right questions. You might fail to build real emotional certainty, or might even rush through the process just to avoid the rejection, right? You just rush to those health questions to give the quote because that's what the prospect asked. And when then the sale doesn't happen because you didn't take them through the right sales process and you didn't allow yourself to get uncomfortable and fight for that, guess what? All that does is that reinforces your original belief that you were right. See, I knew they didn't want to do this. These leads suck. I'm not good at this. Why do they always say, why do you ask me all these questions? And this is what's called a self-fulfilling cycle, right? You're going to hear this before, and I actually learned this from Damon Dillard, who is a good friend of mine, and also through a book that we're reading right now in our book club called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. The belief creates the behavior creates the results, and the results confirm your belief, right? So it's just this vicious cycle. It becomes this loop. And if it's not disrupted, then it actually becomes your identity. But the truth is, when you start a new belief, someone out there is waiting for me to show up and help them today. Your tone shifts. Your posture lifts. Your questions get deeper. Your certainty transfers to the person on the other end of the phone. And you start behaving like someone who expects a win, right? And that confidence leads to one. And then the win, it reinforces the new belief. And then the cycle starts spinning in your favor. Okay, limiting beliefs trap you. empowering beliefs move you? All right, part 2 of this would be identifying what is holding you back, doing some self-identity. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. What's the reoccurring excuse or fear that shows up on my tough days? What belief do I have about myself that limits how I show up on calls? What do I assume about the people on the other end of the phone that prevent me from helping them the way that they need to be helped? So what I want you to do is write down 1 to 2 limiting beliefs that you have. It can be the ones that we said in part 1 of this, right? Write it down on a piece of paper, type it up on your computer. What are your limiting beliefs? Okay, so part 3 of this is going to be, let's challenge these beliefs now. Okay, what we're going to do is teach you how to reframe and question your own thoughts. And the simple act of this exercise will actually start to help you understand how we help reframe and help our prospects question their thoughts about putting protection in place for their families. So I want you to ask yourself on the questions that you wrote down, is this belief, is it actually true? Or is it just a familiar pattern? Is it actually true, or is it a familiar pattern? And then I'm going to introduce this 3 R's method that I learned. And I apologize in advance, I do not remember who taught me this. The 3 R's is recognize, refute, and replace. Recognize, refute, replace. So we're going to recognize the belief, right? We're going to recognize whatever limiting belief we have. We're going to refute it with logic or truth. And then we're going to replace it with an even more empowering thought. So here's an example of a limiting belief. I'm not good at this. Is that the truth? It's not. It's just familiar, or you're learning a new skill. Your new belief would be, I'm getting better on every single call, and that's enough to succeed. So what I want you to do is look at your limiting beliefs. You're going to refute it, say that is actually not true, and you're going to replace it with the new belief that will help carry you forward. Okay. And then part 4 in this is helping you build your new identity. We're going to do an identity shift. We're going to reinforce the belief in your personal transformation about you as a salesperson. If I believed I was capable, if I did believe I was capable, how would I show up differently? Think about how you show up now. How do you show up for yourself at your desk every day? If you were the most successful person selling life insurance right now over the phone, would you show up the same way that you're doing right now? Or maybe would you show up a little bit different? What does that look like for you? Would you dress a little better? Would your desk be a little more organized? Would your day be more organized? Would you prioritize work over drinks or lunch with your spouse or with your friends? Then I want you to have a visualization of your day. I want you to actually close your eyes and visualize literally going through an entire sales call and just crushing it. I want you to visualize writing the application. What does that look like? What are your clients saying to you? What does your client look like? Where are they from? What are their fears? What are you doing? What type of questions are you asking? Are you getting them to be emotional? Are you getting them to open up? Are you opening up? Are you helping them understand the application process? Are they afraid? Are you helping them not feel afraid anymore? What tools are you using? What questions are you asking? Right? All of that. And then I want you to celebrate the win as if you just got the sale and you helped another family. What does that win feel like? They made their first payment. You got your deposit in your bank account. What does that feel like? How much money did you make? Were you able to pay your bills? I want you to visualize that process as the person who is capable. I'm a huge believer in visualization. I can see things so clearly, so vividly. 5 years from now, I picture what I'm wearing, the people that I'm with. I'm maybe standing on a stage and I'm giving a big speech and I'm talking about all the different paths and roads that I took to get me here. Who is that person for you? Okay. Part 5, we're going to take all the things that we just covered and we are going to anchor it in action. Okay, we're going to turn these beliefs now into habits. And we're going to turn these habits into outcomes. And we're going to give ourselves little micro commitments, okay? Because little changes every day is a lot easier to do than a huge big goal, right? We all know that. We might have one huge big goal of making 100,000 per year, of making 200,000 per year, but we don't just wake up the next day and we've hit that goal, right? We have to make these little micro commitments. So what's one thing that you'll do this week to reinforce your new belief? What are you going to do to reinforce your new belief? So if the example you're going to use is I believe that I'm capable of helping 5 families per week, then your micro commitment to yourself is you're going to show it by doing 300 dials per day no matter what. That's your micro commitment. So putting all of these things together that we talked about, which is defining the enemy, identifying yourself, challenging your belief, building a new identity, anchoring it in action with mini micro commitments. You don't need to rise to the level of your potential, right? You fall to the level of your belief. So what we have to do is raise that floor so that your belief starts to match your potential. You will never outperform the story you believe about yourself. If you believe that you're average, guess what? You're going to produce average. If you believe people won't buy, you'll stop asking people to buy. If you believe you're not a closer, you'll hesitate when it's time to lead someone into an application. Catch yourself ever asking for permission? So do you want to do it? Instead of just saying, perfect, what's the name of your beneficiary, right? When you shift your belief, even if it's just a little, everything begins to move with it. You show up differently. You speak with more certainty. You make calls expecting progress, right? We fail forward. We don't fear rejection. We welcome it. Here's a takeaway for you today. Over the next 7 days, I want you to act like the version of yourself that's already made it. That agent who's already confident, already closing, already consistent, already unstoppable. Let your belief lead and dictate your behavior, not the other way around. Because the call doesn't make you nervous anymore. The old version of you is just scared of who you're becoming. If you've gotten this far, you already have everything you need. It's time to start acting like it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.